Please sit comfortably as you possibly can. Ensure that your back is straight, your neck is straight, your head is straight, but above all, be relaxed. And gently close your eyes. Allow the eyelids to just drop gently. The eyelashes, you might feel them on your cheeks. Enjoy that softness. And as you breathe in, bring your shoulders up. Take them back. And as you're breathing out, just allow them to drop. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through the center of your lips. Ever so gently, let go of the shoulders. Now the shoulders are relaxed. Breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the center of the lips. Allow the respiration, the breath, to just happen. Don't try to impose the pace for it. Keep your eyes closed and start becoming aware of the breath as you're breathing in and as you're breathing out. No need to move your shoulders, just let them relax. Breathing in through the nose, gently, and out through the center of your lips. Be aware of the space around you. Your eyes are closed, but be aware of the space around you. Be aware of the ground below you. What parts of your body are touching the ground below you? Place your palms in your lap, right palm holding the left palm, both palms facing toward the sky, and your thumbs are gently touching each other. And again, be aware of the ground below you. Is your left knee in balance with your right knee? Don't move them, just be aware. Is the temperature on your nose the same as the temperature on your right shoulder? Just be aware. Be aware of any sounds around you, the sound of my voice. Move beyond that, move beyond this room, and not just hear the sounds, but listen. Aware of the environment around you. And as you're breathing in, breathe in through your nose. And as you're breathing out through the center of your lips, allow relaxation to settle into the body. As you're breathing in, be aware of that breath, being the breath that we are all taking. And as you're breathing out, be aware of sharing that breath and the importance of it in the cycle of life. Breathing in, be aware of nourishing this body and nourishing this mind. And as you're breathing out, share that nourishment. Although you can hear the sounds around you, don't allow it to disturb your mind or your body. Allow yourself to remain where you are. Allow yourself to go within with your breath. Breathing in through the nose. Feel the expansion as it takes place. And as you breathe out through the center of your lips, continue to feel that expansion within you. As you're breathing in, take that breath to the center of the chest. And as you're breathing out, feel that breath leaving through the center of your chest. As you're breathing in, breathe in with gratitude and allow that gratitude to settle there. And as you're breathing out, feel every cell in your body receiving in gratitude, giving in gratitude, and allowing harmony and balance and ease to settle at a cellular level. Be aware of the breath giving you life. Be aware of your breath giving life. As you settle into that space in the center of your chest, allow yourself to be there. Breathe in. And as you're breathing out, become aware of this body, this mind, and this breath at this moment in time. Breathing in, be aware. And breathing out in gratitude for this body, for this mind, for this heart, for that space that is you. And now, coming from that space of gratitude, coming from that place of love, please join me in prayer. Sarveta Sukhina Santu Sarve Santu Nidrani Pashyantu Mahakashi Karma Sahana Sahano Sahavyam Bharvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vishvavahai. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May every being be happy. May every being be free from all diseases. May every being feel, appear blissful. May there not be trace of sorrow within any being. Bless us, so we may live together. We may be nourished together and learn the brilliance of this knowledge together, leading to self-unfoldment without any sense of pride, prejudice, or ego. May peace prevail along our bodies and our minds. May peace prevail throughout all the celestial bodies in the cosmos. And may peace prevail along our journey to self-realization. May peace prevail. Om Shanti. Keeping your eyes closed, Bring your palms on your knees, palms facing toward the sky. The tip of your index finger is at the base of your thumb, and your middle finger and your ring finger touch the tip of your thumb, and the pinkies are extended. We'll be chanting Om 5 times. We'll begin at a normal volume, and with every Om, the volume will be decreased in half. And by the 5th Om, you'll be saying it silently with your breath. Om is A-U-M. Allow your breath to carry that. Don't try to extend it. Don't try to control it. Just allow it to happen. Allow yourself to feel the vibration and the reverberation in your body of that Om, even as you say it in silence. Take a deep breath in, and we'll begin. Breathe in. And as you're breathing out, mentally chant Om. Breathe in again. And as you're breathing out, breathe out in gratitude. Breathe out with love. Breathe out with awareness. Breathe in one more time. And as you breathe out, allow yourself to become open to receive this morning. Om Shanti. Namaste. And when you're ready, very slowly, very gently, open your eyes. Good morning. Nice to see you. Nice to be here. This is actually a very special occasion that we have the opportunity to listen and be here for this satsang is quite exceptional. And I would like to introduce, although most of you know Upendra Sonaji, I would like to tell you how fortunate we are that we have him speaking to us about this subject matter. It's not something that everybody understands, and it's not something that everybody can simplify and make it easy for the rest of us to understand. So, and he is very, very good at imparting this knowledge in a way that we can understand it. So, with that being said, welcome, and let me depart from this microphone.
Shivoham, Shiva, Aham. Aham, I, Shiva, Shiva. To some of us, Shiva has been introduced to us in personified form, in a human form. So we have the concept of Shiva have hairs and a snake in his neck, and the river Ganges beginning from his head. That concept is good so far as children are concerned who cannot digest the abstract form of reality. Today we'll do our best to understand Shiva as that intelligence. That intelligence can take personified form in a person, but today our effort will be to understand the intelligence, the knowledge that pervades entire reality. To most of us, the concept of God is most of the time in personified form, and as a result, many times we say, my God and your God. May we learn, and my request to all of you is to keep our past at a distance and understand the beauty, glory, and magnificence of Shivoham. It reminds me that quite often we have heard that the world population is growing. What will happen to the scarcity of the food and whatnot? That is how news media and so-called brilliant graduate imparts into our head. In 2009, I was visiting UK with a dear friend of mine, most of you may be knowing, Randy and I. And we were walking on the bank of River Thames. It appears so simple, but I was so touched. The entire land is a moist land, and you will see the greenery everywhere. And all of a sudden, my attention went to the little bit of ground covering, and they were so tiny, and some of them, after a while, the patch was disappearing. And every speck of it, you can take it as a living being. So if you're taking every bit of the ground covering as a being, every fish in the ocean to be being, number of humans is really nothing. And the all being in the ocean, all being on the earth, all millions of bacteria and flies and birds in the sky, they are manifestation of, if I may call it, an element that element is Shiva, who not only manifests in that form, but he has arranged the entire cosmos in such a manner so that Jivo Jivasya Jivanam, one life is a life nourishing to the other, and it is so self-balanced that what we hear from the news media, what will happen to the food supply is out of question. So, understanding this the moist land that I was talking about. I was kind spellbound for half hour, just staring. And people will think, what happened to you? But I was thinking of what a manifestation of Shiva. Take you still further. Human life, some of you may not be aware except the medical people, but the next slide, human embryo, when it is 20 days old in the womb, the upper part has two tubular structure developing, meaning two separate tubes, they stand up. And then as the day go by, the interconnection with the tubes take place. These two tubes come together. And it is mind-boggling that they form and they make a heart. Let me share with you. I will also show you in the form of a small video. So the first part you see is a human embryo, 18 days old. Then right at the upper part, these two tubes are developing. Then on the 21st day, these two tubes come together. And on a miniature scale, they start acting like a heart. At 22nd day, 23rd day, see the structure changing. 24th days, it nearly taking the shape of heart. And this is on the 35th day. And you see here, these are cross-section of that heart, and this is 8 weeks old. Talking about Shiva, talking about the intelligence. Some of the Jain may call it a Kaivalya Jnana. We all the time think Jnana as that knowledge that as if you and I, we can understand from Google. This is not Google. It is not anybody's cup of tea. And all this from the microscopic element of human being, when the conception takes place, and just imagine that a full-fledged heart is right at this straight cardiogenic structure. From here, these two tubes develop and the whole phenomena is taking place. Now that phenomena, let me share once more with you as to, in the form of a small video, these two tubes, how they come together. Just observe. And later on into full functioning heart. She now started pulsating already. How the formation take place. Now, the full functioning heart. To think of the wall, to think of the valves inside, and how complex structure is that. So again, I'm not taking you to the medical side, but at the same time, I wanted us to understand that what is that intelligence that is governing the entire universe, and we are no different than a part or the miniature representation of the entire universe. Many times in the past we have heard, oh, God is right here. But now understand what is that God that we were thinking about. I'm using the word that, okay? And every molecule on this entire cosmos is full of so-called God. And that God, the great yogis, meditators, rishis from Bharat, India, call it Shiva. And over the course of time, maybe today, and a month from now, and who knows. When I say who knows, I'm not sure whether I will be in a position to complete in 2 months, okay? But doesn't matter, I'm not going to rush on it. So Shivoham, we just now mentioned, I am Shiva. I mean we all, all right, don't treat me only. I am Shiva. There's another Sanskrit word called Jiva, individual being. What is the difference between Shiva and Jiva? We say I'm Shiva, but we don't experience that. Why? As simple as this, that behind me is the picture of Goddess Gayatri. But what is this green here? Called what? Curtain. Curtain in Sanskrit is called Avaran. Some kind of filter. So some of you may say, remove the curtain and I can see Shiva. No. That Avaran will be spending 2 months to learn. And this is where, dear friends, we will be learning what sadhana can be. Sadhana, spiritual path, dedicated approach. And if today, and a month from now, if certain understanding does develop, do not hesitate in changing your lifestyle. So far, we might have been either fasting or going to the temple and doing aartis and offering foods, all understandable. They all stand merit for it. I'm not criticizing it. But today, and a month from now or two from now, if a spark does get ignited in you, and you may well be criticized by common society, that what happened to you, Gemini? I don't see you in temple anymore. You're not fasting anything, and you're not decorating these, and it was Janmashtami, and you didn't come, and blah, blah, blah. Because to you, every day will be Janmashtami. Because Krishna is not gonna born again. And Krishna and Shiva, there's no difference. Do we understand what that intelligence is? And the barrier, the filter, the curtain, we are trying to understand. And that is one of the biggest gifts to the mankind that Bharat, India has to offer. They are still available. Before I take you into Avaran, the curtains, and how it acts like curtain, let me share with you this song of which you have heard, Shivoham, Shivoham, Mano Buddhi Ahankar. That song has 6 stanzas, and each stanza has 4 lines, and the 4th line is repeated in all the 6 stanzas. But I will take you on a different path. Now, 6 stanzas times 4 is 24. And each of the line, I don't think has more than 4 words in it. So 24 times 4, 96. In that 6 stanzas, the last line is repeated. So, last line and has 4 words in it. So you can imagine 20 repetitions exist. If I have 20 repetitions out of 96, so only 76 words. And dear friend, it can be your lifelong companion. Lifelong. I leave that to that degree, and let's begin studying curtains, filters, Avaran, and how symbolically a friend of mine has developed. So Shiva, the beauty and the glory of Shiva need to be experienced. How we feel and how the curtain overlaps with all the attractions in the world, and we miss realizing the so-called reality, Shiva. This we studied Shiva is Jiva-less covering. Or you can put it other way too, Shiva, and when it is covered with covering or the Avarana, it is Jiva. But in Jiva form, you start realizing what are the curtains, and you start observing seriously then those curtains will fade out and you will start seeing it. Just now I shared with you how the two tubes form the heart. Who has even a capacity to let this tube pulsate and turns into a complex heart? Mother thinks that the mother gives birth to a child. And proud father say, oh, he is my son. My son. Understand this point, okay? All right. Appears like rainbow, and it is a rainbow. We are so lost into seeing the uncommon occurrence of rainbow so that we go out and see the rainbow. But the base behind the rainbow is the white light. White light is always present, but we care least about it. White light going through the prism turns into a spectrum of color. We like to see the spectrum, but mind you, spectrum is no more spectrum if the light is absent. I think you understand what I'm driving at. This particular one statement, every one of us will be repeating so often beyond name and form. Okay? Like those of us who were here at the time of pranayama seminar, we repeated a statement, it is what it is. Like that, we'll be repeating beyond name and form. And it will be kind of a reminder to all of us. Name and form itself is a filter. As soon as a form is given, we assign the name. Computer, camera, microphone, it has some shape, some form. But we'll talk about it in a minute. This line will be repeating, so I want all of you to repeat after me, not right now. And the line reads is Chidananda Rupo Shivoham Shivoham. And if you break it down into the individual word, don't think that I have made a spelling mistake, but that's the way Sanskrit works. When you combine two words together, T become D and A become O, and that thing happens. So these are the words Chitta, Ananda, Rupaha, Shivaha, Aham. Those are the words. Chitta, consciousness, reality, Ananda, bliss, Rupa, form, Shiva, just now we talked a little bit and we'll be talking for a couple of months, Aham means I. So, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I am Shiva, I am Shiva, I am form of reality. I am blessed. Now, for a few seconds, I do not want you to take your attention away from the TV. Keep looking at it and just see what happens. Do not take your attention, observe it. Some of you may wonder, now you can, if you want to look, you can listen. Some of you wonder, what was it? But one of our members, those of you know Shivoham, has taken painstaking effort in developing this particular presentation. So in the beginning of this was Om and lotus flower, symbolizing purity and divinity. In Indian culture, you know, lotus flower and Om, okay? But then as the light begins and one after another curtains are added, the worldly beauty start coming in and the innocence disappear and the reality disappear. There's nothing wrong in this waterfall also, mind you. But waterfall is the worldly beauty. So our mind gets occupied into worldly beauty. Avarana, different filters are taking place. And it is not that simple of a filter. What are the filters? That is what we'll be studying hereafter. So this was just the background to let you know what filter plays the role. Covering, filter, curtain, whatever words we use, there are a series of avarana, covering, and those covering we would like to study. And if you have any question, please hold on to it. Let the flow go smoothly. And I promise you, I will do my best to justify your question. Now here, Avarana. Okay. Don't worry too much about the Sanskrit name, all right? English translation also exists, but each of these are chapters in itself. When we say Karana in an instrument, that itself can be a chapter. And we will be talking about it. Then Gnanendriya, the instrument of perception, essential element Mahabhuta. And again, these are the, you can say the title of the book, each one and has its chapters in it. And those chapters we will be talking. And try to do your best to make mental note of it and apply in your life. And your sadhana begins from now on. What we were calling sadhana and what today we'll be learning may be a new definition. So, and at the same time, that may not impart you to change your lifestyle. And if you think that this is not that it doesn't make sense to you, all my fault, but still you will like it from a different perspective. But those of you who call yourself sadhaka spiritual person, then time is now. So, Antakarana, inner instrument, then instrument of perception, Gnanendriya, Mahabhuta, 5 element, 5 vayus, prana, apana, samana, udana, vyana, essential element, earth, water, air, space, Agni, okay? Saptadhatu, rasa, rakta, Mans, Majja, Panchakosha. Let's talk just one at a time. So now we are going to, and as and when a chapter ends, and mind you, I'm going to take you through each chapter later on If some of you are interested, then we will be spending more time on it. But at the same time, you will not feel that I'm rushing you through. But I remember this presentation was made. Some of our friends wanted to do further study on it. And in that, the first word was mana. That one word alone took 4 hours to talk. But at the same time, there's a lot more depth to it. But we do the best the time permits us. These are all different chapters. Karmendriya, Shataripu, 6 vices, Kam, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Matsar, Purushartha, Parinam Karma, Sambandha, relation. Each one of them is a filter. Again, I will be repeating this word, covering Avarana filter, so that you don't get carried away into the individual sub-chapters and forget the overall picture. What are we studying? What are we looking at? So with these, pardon me. When we'll be having chapter by chapter, this particular stanza will repeat. I want all of you to join the same word. Close your eyes and enjoy it. Just for a few seconds, and when I go to the next chapter, after that, the same thing will happen. I will replay this. Shivoham, Shivoham. It's okay. Now we go into studying the different coverings, and this covering, let us start making mental note as to how much each one of us, how much work is laid out for each one of us. And this for individual only. We will not have any opportunity to blame the husband, wife, children, or anybody else. Your life, and you got to know what you want to do. Antakarana, inner instrument. Mana, mind, buddhi, intellect, chitta, memory, and ahankara, ego. And now we see how this element we are using it in our day-to-day life. And mind you, all of those, they are not separate entities that here is mind, here is intelligence, there is memory, and here is ego. No. These are the different functionality of an entity. You can call it a mind. Okay? So in case, if you hear different definitions, don't be bogged out with it, but try to understand what we really mean by the word antahkarana. So, lower mind, meaning the mind, it is pretty much a reflective mind, meaning you don't have to think too much. What's your name? Sunil. Did you think any a bit? No. When I asked the operators, would you care for a cup of coffee? Yeah. And he started drinking. But there are others where you have to do some calculation, some computation, or go into the past, and it may not be as simple. For example, if you go to a doctor's office and say you're not doing good, something, so he will draw some blood, he will take you to the X-ray, and then he may have to refer to somebody. A lot of thinking need to be done. So lower mind is where it is pretty much reflective mind. And higher mind, or the intelligence, which you have to think, you have to go deep into it, you have to study that. Now, chitta, there are two words. This is chitta and a chitta, single T. Single T refers to consciousness. Double T refers to your memory. Okay? And sometimes the same word is used for memory, and same word is used for self, or the Atma too. So if you, in one of the slokas in Bhagavad Gita, is using the word chitta. So don't be, it is to be studied with a reference to contrast. And memory, chitta, so people, some of us, we may wonder, they say, sharper the memory, worse the filter. All right? So just understand, I mean, because you remember so many things. You could see, now taking you back to rainbow, or the spectrum of the 7 colors of that white light. More and more you go into the wavelength and the color and the temperature and the pressure and other sub colors in it. Okay? More you know it, you care never or least about the white light. Understand now what I'm referring to. So the word Shiva, all those filters, we are loading into it. Many times in our Wednesday class, we hear the word, this is not PhD's knowledge. And I'm not underestimating PhD, please understand me. But PhD meaning that mind is so analytical and wants to find out everything logically. If everything needs to be found out logically, Explain me those two tubes coming together, forming out what logic? And I can give you tons of examples, but one of that is good enough. So sharper the memory, stronger is the flow. And so in that light, you would notice very seldom a spiritual, genuine teacher I'm referring to. Impressive teachers are different, but genuine teacher, the life will be so plain, simple. They know nothing of Shivoham, but they are Shiva. The simplicity most. So, first of all, lower mind, reflective mind, sharper mind, younger student to elderly people, the sharper the mind, people will think, oh my God, what a brilliant fellow. And talking about the brilliance, and I had the privilege to meet one gentleman once upon a time, president of Walt Disney, and some of you may estimate presentation, budget approval. I went there and I'm talking to his secretary, what's your name? And I said, such, I have 2:30. 3 other people, all of them had 2:30 appointment. All right? So you may think he's busy. No, he talks to 4 of them simultaneously. Talking about the memory, talking about the intelligence. And he talks to all the 4 of them, and it's not that. He remembered last year, what did you talk to him? And along with this, when I'm talking to Sunil, and Sunil, I said, okay, you're making this renovation, what is your budget? Oh, by the way, when you went to Japan, and last year you said, how come the budget is different? And Gemini, what did you say? What was your budget? How many more people are you adding? And you didn't talk. So I mean, bang, 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 bang. And this is 10 hours a day. And he remembers all those figures last 2-3 years. And you know, Walt Disney, how many world over attraction, how many budgets, how many people, how many contractors. This guy, super sharp memory. I have not come across another person like him, at least in my lifetime. So, whereby, and with this, see, all of you got attracted. I wish I had that memory, right? You see? But mind you, these 2 paths are different. What you call success, what you call appreciation. But lesser the filter a person has, his life will be so simple. He will be leaving no marks, and surrounding people, other people may not know whether he's living or not living. He goes by, passes by, without you letting even know that he did something. He's so much in himself. Shiva. Understand Shiva everywhere. do we even know? So, Antahkarana, lower mind, higher mind, memory, and I'm not saying don't develop memory, don't misunderstand me, but behind every detail of your mind, there is that intelligence. There is that force, prana. Become aware of. So here, and as Margie was guiding us in the initial part, centering, she used a couple of times the word appreciation, gratitude of a life for a spiritual person. Life is full of gratitude. The way you breathe, the way you see, the way you talk, the way how the lower mind works, or the way the intelligence works, buddhi. And if you are blessed with more buddhi or less buddhi, both, consider as a blessing. How many parents of us, we all the time blame our children, and if we don't blame, and somebody Shilpi may come and says, Marci, what kind of children you have? I mean, don't you even tell them? He just had 4.0, but all other people had 4.2. She is not talking to her children. Shilpi goes, I mean, spend little time. They're brilliant. They will get 4.2. Appreciation is not there. Each one of us, so here, the dullest mind has a place, sharpest mind also has a place. Depends what you look at it. Depends. Try to appreciate the source of white light and not as much the spectrum of colors. Don't be blinded with this. And as simple as your breathing, thank God. God, my God. So, lower mind, higher mind, memory, and ego. If every breath is so full of appreciation, and behind that, the source with which everything is. Am I making this point clear? The source with which everything is the way it is, let us appreciate it. So that what will happen, ego will not be developed. Otherwise, every lesson that we go and learn, ego is so bad, just get rid of ego and you'll be all right. As if ego is like this, just put it away and done. And slowly you work on it, understand who you are and how sometimes we all like certain things, we pretend to be humble. And what I mean by pretend to be humble, 10 people will give lecture and says, I know Mahim, oh my God, she's such a dedicated worker and she's so humble, she doesn't want her name anywhere. But then 10 people talked about Mahim. Why? Okay? So we appear to be humble, but internal, we like it. And as my father used to say, Khushamad Khuda ko bhi pyari hoti hai. those of you didn't understand, I don't understand also. So let's, so this was about this Antakarana, the so-called first chapter. And in that, about that, Swami Chinmayananda has given us another little chart, but so beautiful. No matter what he's going to talk about, but he will have that chart with him. And that chart is, Om is reality, and you can take it as a white light. It gets filtered through the vasanas, the sanskaras, the impressions that all of us we have. And we have three equipment. This is Swami Chinmayananda's wording. Three equipment human has, which is body, mind, and intellect. Slight different presentation. The body is an equipment, but what does body do? Body works as a perceiver. It perceives the image. And perceiving instrument can be eye, ear, nose, okay? And what it does, so the body acts like a perceiver and it perceives what? Object. Then mind is a filler and it feels the emotions. Intellect, equipment is used and the person acts like a thinker and he thinks a thought. And on this, he can be explaining Upanishad, he can be explaining Bhagavad Gita, all with these. But see, all the now looking from the Shivoham point of view, that if you see, you become a stronger perceiver, a stronger feeler, and a stronger thinker. Your three equipment, which is body, mind, intellect, are so sharp, sharper that equipment, stronger will be the vasanas, filter, and so Om will not be seen. The reality will not be experienced. Shiva will not be experienced. Only Aham, that's all. Not Shivoham, Aham. Okay? Mind you, dear friends, when I'm talking about this inner instrument like mind, body, intellect, ego, I'm not condemning any one of those. Whatever qualitative element those may be, but don't forget to appreciate and go to the source of it. And once again, when I say go to the source is Shiva, that intelligence that makes everything appear to be intelligent. But the real intelligence, the real white light, that's the source we have to go and appreciate. More and more you go and start thinking about it, what's going to happen is asmita, the individual identity, will slowly fade away. So what will happen? Aham will change to Shiva. Spectrum of the colors are there. but our whole attention goes to the source with which it turns into the seven colors. So once when the white light is so much appreciated, doesn't mean the seven colors don't exist, but your whole attention is on the white light. So seven colors are not there, Swamiji is not here, but that intelligence which guides me, which listens to your prayer to learn something, and that white light intelligence empowers me to answer your prayer. And you may think, oh my God, he talks so nicely, or he talks so horrible, he put us all to sleep. But in either case, we are either appreciating Swamiji or we are blaming Swamiji. But the point is, we do not look at the source. More and more, and this just sheer thinking about it, you don't have to pretend to be humble. Your individual identity slowly disappears, and all it is, you are full of appreciation that I am nothing, just a reflection. The source empowers me. So dear friend, keep on thinking about the source and do not name the source. Let me qualify what I said. Moment you give name to a source, name always go with the form, and form once, let's talk about Shiva, and I made a statue of Shiva or a picture of Shiva. But Margie, in her childhood, had seen a different picture of Shiva. So she said, this is not Shiva. Maybe Swamiji, your Shiva may be different than my Shiva. So again, now that source is under your captivity. My Shiva, my God, my religion. You understand? So what I was talking about, beyond name and form, constant reminder, go to the source of it, which has no name and no form. That's why silence plays the biggest role, and that's why genuinely wise people, if they have to advise you, they will advise you only one thing: meditate, meditate, and meditate. But even in the meditation, smart person like me say, Swamiji's meditation. And the purpose of meditation is to erase the identity and go to a state. See, it is all Margie's fault because she doesn't speak better English so that other people can understand. Huh? I'm sorry, dear friends, it is my limitations. When the flow is disturbed, and I feel this is not for everybody. Let us observe a few minutes and Hari Om. So we were talking about filters, antakarana, and to go beyond name and form. So let us, once this the way we'll memorize this sentence, and it's so important, and I will request you to say it frequently, beyond name and form.
Beyond name and form.
Reminder to ourselves, beyond name and form. At the same time, humble request, don't go home and tell everybody, go beyond name and form. This is strictly for individual. And in that light, Maji often says, spirituality is a singular journey. Only you and you alone, nobody else. Whereby I'm not saying that you don't share with your family members, but as and when it is ready, the things may take place. Otherwise, phone may ring here. We are not ready. So beyond name and form. Second big chapter is Gnanendriya, instrument of perception. And mind you, the first chapter was inner instrument. Inner instrument means those instruments are like you could see my eyes, ear, nose, but you cannot see the mind, you cannot see the intelligence, you cannot see the ego. That's why it is called inner instrument. And this you can call it outer instrument. But these are the instruments with which you obtain the gnana, the knowledge. We study the outside world, and as a result, and this is how you outside world you perceive Gnanendriya. So in the Gnanendriya, there are 5 of those: ear, nose, tongue, and one more skin, Sherman. There are karna and grana, the same, and nashika. Nashika and grana is the same. Shrota and karna is the same. Different Sanskrit names sometimes used differently. But basically, eye, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. Now, each of these instruments with which we perceive the outside world. So, understanding our life phenomena is a threefold phenomena. You, the perceiver, I am perceiving the object, and the process is called observation. So observer, observations, and object. You could use any one of those. With my eyes, I could see you, so you the object. I am seer, so seer is the perceiver, and the process is seeing. I drank this juice, so drinking is the process. I am drinker, drinker. And I'm a big drinker. And whatever it is in it, you don't want to know. That's why Sumi brings always in black bottle. Okay, so threefold process with which you're perceiving the world outside. It can be juice, it can be drinking, eating, seeing, feeling, okay? Temperature outside, that is the skin may feel it. So we're perceiving the outside world, and you are the perceiver. Now understand the beauty. Let's take an example of a mother a newly born baby or any baby, whether even if it is 50 years old, still baby is baby to mother. No, I'm not kidding you. This, some of you must be well experienced because you never fail advising them. So anyhow, so the point is that when you are a new mother, means you have a just born baby, you look at it, you love the baby, your emotions are so strong that keep on staring, looking at it and taking care of the baby. So what happens is your whole life is baby. Nothing but baby. You think, how do I know? Anyhow, so this, I'm not a mother for sure. So, but in a different fashion. So when you observe it, when you perceive the baby so strong, so that only perceived object remain and perceiver disappears. Perceiver means even though mother is perceiver, but the baby is of so much focus so that he forgets that I am the mother. Everything is baby. When everything is baby, mother as a perceiver dissolves, so dissolve the perception. Because then only thing remains is object. So in this, when a meditator is meditating on Shiva, concept-wise, and I'm using the word concept, mind you, not Shiva, okay? So concept-wise, and he's so much appreciative of it. He, the meditator, is no more a meditator. What remains is that object. Here, don't take it as an object, mind you, that the subjects of the subject, all right? But in this explanation, that intelligence which is behind everything, in his core of his bosom, that is it and nothing but that. So when that stage is reached, where meditator is no more, and only thing remains is something, if I may still call it a thing, that meditator meditated upon. And that object, that's the only thing that remains. So at that time, they can say Shiva. But in most of our cases, Shiva got it. So, dear friends, this Gnanendriya chapter is also not as simple as we think. Each of the Gnanendriya, when you develop it, let's take the first one, Netra, eyes. It was a time, once again, I'm talking about my friend Randy, maybe in February or March you will meet in the form of a picture, or his lovely friendship with me. We were talking about, I think Ishavasya Upanishad in the retreat, or maybe some different Upanishad. And then it came time for us to go for nature's walk. And the project manager, asked everybody, just meet outside the hall, and we were there. And I requested Randy, I said, Randy, take them for a nature walk. So Randy is standing right outside, and there's a beautiful, huge tree. So Randy says, would everybody turn around and look at the tree? Okay. So, and after 2 minutes, they said, turn around 180 degrees. So in other words, face me. Tree is on the back. And they say, Sandhya, what did you see? Tree. What did you see in the tree? What? It's a tree. In other words, Sandhya did not appreciate the glory. Sandhya knew a form with leaves and branches is called a tree. But did Sandhya saw the tree? Did she see the tree? No. Beyond name and form. Okay? So when we say eyes are there to see, but did you see and only see the tree? You were there. I know that I know. Am I losing you? So understanding the perceiver, the meditator, or the observer, it's just I observe and yeah, I saw it. I know meditation, I do every day, hour and a half. Really? Margie thinks that, oh, she just does it for 5 minutes. He does 4 and a half. So the threefold life which we try to study: observer, observation, and observed, or the object. And when only object remains, we observe it that way. And this is the performance of art. Performance of art. Any artist, when they do art work, and a typical one, you see, when a dancer is dancing, most of us, when we don't know, but an accomplished dancer is so dancing that only dance remains and dancer is no more. Or the dance and the dancer becomes one. And that is possible when dancer, while dancing, is so much absorbed into the dance so that he is no more. And only the object remains. Dancing doesn't remain, dance remains. Yes? No? Okay? So those are the accomplished people. So those sadhaka, spiritual person, when he is meditating, sadhana disappears. Sadhak disappears. Sadhan remains. Sadhya remains. Sadhya, the element upon which you were meditating. So here, when we are taking Jnanendriya, the instrument of perception, any one of those you take, You take eyes, right now we are talking about the eyes. So you see, so much you see that people may think that, what is this guy looking at the blank window? He must be crazy. Yes, only crazy can reach there, and it's not for everybody's cup of tea. Because understand, dance and the dancer that talk, we will be talking maybe in the month of February or March. So you will appreciate that, my relationship with Randy. Okay? And the dance and the dancer, that element, every sadhaka, every spiritual person has to study this. That focus, attention, but spontaneous focus. And I will explain in a few seconds what is spontaneous focus. Meaning, if Sumi doesn't want to meditate, and I say, Sumi, sit here, look at this flower. And so Sumi doesn't want, she's tired, whatnot, so she takes out her glasses. I'm looking at the flower, meaning she's putting so much of effort in it so that she creates the tension. She creates a separate identity. She can never be a meditator. So the word is spontaneous, meaning effortlessness. All of you mothers, you are spontaneous lover of your children. Do you understand what point I'm trying to explain? Nobody asks you, hey, did you love your child? Go love. What? Spontaneous effortlessness. When your core, your heart, will be craving for that love, that Shiva, that intelligence, at that time, you will not remain. At that time, all of your perceptive senses, instrument of perception, eyes, ear, nose, things, nothing but that Shiva element. And that is when those of you with Indian origin, and you know that the Meera song, Meera says that in this whole world, there's no other man. I have only one man who is my husband, and he is Krishna. So mind you, when we talk about husband and wife, we just have one relationship. But there is no other man, understand this. Dusra na koi, mera to sirf Girdhar Gopal. Okay? And these are not her just bhajan, her utterance from her heart. That is what her life is. So only those can meditate. And when I say meditate, instruments are there, but the instrument is so beautifully, so deeply used, so that what remains is object, Krishna, Shiva, and for a mother, the child. And you dissolve. Your asmita, your individual identity is no more. So every one of those 5 senses of instrument, even though they are filtered, but if you know how to dissolve the filter so that observer disappears, observation is no more, what remains is just the observed. Dear friend, it is still not late, mind you. When you observe, you observe. When you eat, you eat. When you smell, you smell. Smell to the degree that not only the rose remain, not only you remain, but the fragrance and you become identical. So the fragrance is important and you no longer belong there. And the same way, the sense of touch can be developed. And when I say sense of touch can be developed, a blind person sitting next to it, she's not seeing it. But the way she feels that, immediately say, how are you, Mercy? The sense of touch. And some of you, particularly mothers, if you have 2 or 3 children and if they're playing blindfold game, mother can sense it. Which child is which? But that identity with the child is so deep so that only child remains, she is not. So it could be your eyes, it could be your ears. And hearing-wise also, something which you can please take it as a warning. And I remember we had one instance in our Wednesday class. There came a very nice singer and he was singing a devotional song, a bhajan. And somebody mentioned that, oh my God, what a beautiful bhajan. And at that time, he just heard a comment that that music was a music to your ears. He didn't understand what was said. It was a music to your ears. Your ears like it, okay? But your heart did not feel oneness like Meera felt it. Okay? So understand each one of those eyes, ear, nose, tongue, and skin get carried away at the mental level, you can be miserable most person. And what I meant, and for this, quite often directions have been given on the path of spirituality, that for example, I like a cup of tea or coffee. So maybe I'll say Sonaji and tea and coffee, but never mind. I like it so that as soon as she brings, I start drinking, and then I said, 1 more cup. Okay? That means what? I am becoming such a slave of my instrument of perception, which is my tongue. And I am not that deeply appreciative, the taste only, but your mind is makes you become slave of the taste. So what can be done is, and this is true for all the senses, to you to develop spontaneous mastery and realizing each one of them to be the filter. So when Sumi is offering a cup of tea, and I am so much tempted to drink it right away, but then I tell myself, wait for 2 minutes, then drink it. So let the flux of this urge fade away. Then you go. So at that time, you become the master. It is very, very essential thing. And that part we will also be learning as one of the filters, which is called Sambandha association. You derive so much tightness with that Sambandha, with the tea or coffee, without which you cannot leave. So you got to have it. And that got to have it, you detach from. So this instrument are good, make use of it, but how to? And so it's not that, Sunil may not be knowing a word of any sloka or so, but he can be detached from the thing so spontaneously so that he can be introvert. His tongue is not dictating upon him. He doesn't know a word of Sanskrit. Doesn't have to. And remember, a lot of time people say, oh, did you speak Sanskrit? Oh, you know Upanishad, you know this. You can know Veda as well. Is it beyond name and form? Upanishad is a name. Veda is name. Krishna is a name. Christ is a name. Buddha is a name. Beyond name and form. It is so important, dear friends. This one, that in the eyes of the society, you may be treated as atheist, Gnostic, all right? Those who don't believe in God. But really speaking, in the light of what we are learning, now you tell me who is Astic and who is Gnostic, who is theist and who is atheist, who is meditator and who is not. You think, I know that I know. That element we have to be aware of. Anytime when you will know that you know, that's where our learning stops. Because at that time, nobody can teach you anything, or you cannot learn anymore. And it is like my father used to say, those who pretend to be asleep, nobody can wake him up. But you may be faster asleep, faster snorer, like Indian character Kumbhakarna, all right? Still someday somebody can, but if you pretend to be, and when you know that you know, who else? Right? So Randy says, Sandhya, did you see tree? Yeah, I saw. She knows that she knows what is there to see. Tree is a tree. Right? And one more example, which is very, I love that example. I was visiting San Diego Zoo, and when I was visiting, just 2-3 feet away from me, one father and son, they were also visiting. So the child was so excited, energized about saying rhino or rhino, whatever you call it. So, one horn, big body. So the child, 3-4 years old, this is the example for I know that I know. Okay? That I don't know. So this example, in this, the child is asking, Dad, what is this? Read, Reno. After 30-40 seconds of silence, Dad, what is it? Didn't you hear? Reno. And still after some time, he's asking, third time. And you should see the boiling father. So father knows that father knows. And the child, dumb head, doesn't listen. Okay? When he became mad and upset, and the child says, Dad, Reno is his name, but what is it? That's the time you wonder who is father and who is son. Beyond name and form. Okay. With this, dear friends, I'm not going to take you more into. We just barely touched 2 chapters. All right. Be aware of the filters. Be aware of beyond name and form. When you go from here, my humble request will be just contemplate over and see what kind of changes you can bring in your life. And again, whether to bring or not, only when your heart bounces and heart wants you to do it, time is still now. Even if I were to breathe my last year, still time is now. So it's very, very important. Carry out your normal duties and whatnot, but have some time for yourself. And if you think you don't have time, you're really kidding yourself. There's always time. And that time is now. And this is a matter of inner awareness. And as my guru used to say, yoga is science of awareness. Be just internally aware. Be drunk all the time. Such a beauty. Element Shiva is everywhere. Shiva. Let us observe 2-3 minutes of silence and we'll have Shanti Party.
Purnamadaha Purnameda Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameda Asheshate Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
We'll continue on February 10th. we'll go to the next chapter, beyond Gnanendriya, and maybe we may still further on it. So everybody is invited, and still, if you think others may be interested, want to join, they can join, all right? But registration is a must. And also, to keep me cool, let phone be not there. Anything else? Yes, Ram.
My question is that today's presentation is mostly involved about our intellect and thinking capabilities. But as our scriptures say, like we pass through more than 8.5 million lives. How does this animals who have limited capabilities, how do they, they go there, spend the time, and then the next life and next life? What is your opinion on that?
Okay, I will answer this because they do not have the self-awareness. We are the only one, human species, have self-awareness. Their life is pretty much on instinct basis. So at least, and it is sometimes, a lot of people ask this question, and they, about on the reincarnation too. People are so scared. What if I become an ant or a dog? Worry about this life here. Don't invite the catechism or anticism, whatever you call it. Okay? So worry not about those things. Make use the most of this life here. All right? Ram? Such a gift we have, that's all. And other thing is, if your mind, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking in general. If your mind has already set pattern that there is a next life, and in the next life, I can be cat, dog, or an insect, then if I tell you, no, next life you will be human, then you think, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And if your mind has already set pattern that in the next life you will be a human, or you will straight go to heaven, okay? In that case also you think that what is he talking? So if it is a genuine question with my limited knowledge, that's the way I interpret, the way your number of karmas and last vasanas which you have, accordingly you choose the parents, and those parents can be dogs and cats and can be human too.